Afternoon, VC Harris here with another video for the vinyl community. Thankfully yesterday spelt the end of office Christmas party season. Thank Christ that's over. Secret Santa's been done. Does the rest of the world do Secret Santa? I don't know. Here's my hilarious gift. Keep calm and follow Pompey. A few people will know why that passes as high octane banter in our office, but yeah, it's all over. Last year I got an 8-inch chocolate dildo, actually, not, despite rumours, not based on my own appendage, but yeah, still got that somewhere, actually, but if I'm feeling peckish, I might try and find that later. But yeah, I've seen a lot of the best of 2021, and I don't feel like I can really do that, because I'll just be showing records I've already shown, and I don't really buy contemporary records now. I mean, really, I haven't bought a guitar record since about '97, and really I just listen to electronic stuff and drill and trap and that, and I just stream that, to be honest. And yeah, so I haven't really got anything to show unless I wave my Spotify at you. But I thought I'd do the best of 2021 records that I haven't listened to. One thing about the VC is it's sort of it's got me going through my collection again. There's so many great records that I just don't, I've got so many. I bought so many during what I call the vinyl slump years. So I did accrue a lot, when records that go for £100 now were like £1 or £2 and they couldn't shift them. So I do have a lot of great records, but I just, what are you going to do? You ain't got the time, have you? And so I thought I'd show you some of the ones that are lurked in my collection, which I've not listened to in 2021. Kicking off with a couple of classics and then getting a little bit more left fieldish. Velvet Underground, Loaded. I'll tell you what, if anything tells you about the vinyl slump years, bought this in Record and Tape Exchange, probably about in the mid-90s. They had it on for £3.20. Record and Tape Exchange, anyone who knows it, this was Record and Tape Exchange in Goldhawk Road, Shepherd's Bush. And the rudest place ever, Record and Tape Exchange. Someone back me up on this in the comments below. They hated everyone. There was I think there were about 5 Record and Tape Exchanges in London. And they had this system where they'd put a price, and then if it didn't sell in the first week, they'd knock it. There's a word for it. I can't remember what it is. They'd knock it down. And you see, this is the first UK press of Loaded. Started off at £3.20. Couldn't sell it. £2.70. Yes, please. I had that. I was probably waiting for the price drop. But yeah, probably my least, apart from Squeeze, which I don't think anyone likes, do they? Velvet Underground record. This is this would be sitting fourth in my Velvet Underground league table, but it's decent, isn't it? A little bit poppy. It's got the classic Who Loves the Sun. That's got the greatest intro ever, isn't it? Who Loves the Sun. Rock and Roll, Sweet Jane. It's all pretty decent, actually. Oh Sweet Nothing's beautiful, isn't it? I love that song. But yeah, the Velvet Underground, Loaded. Not listened to it in 2021. Must arrest that and give it a spin. Next up, and again, if you're talking to classics, and I can't believe I've not played this for years, but when I first got this, oh God, I played the hell out of it. Television, Marquee Moon. Again, I think this is an early. Again, this would have been bought for a couple of quid probably. This is a little bit special. It's got the quotation marks. And looking at Discogs, those quotation marks are worth about 15 quid each. Looking at the prices, so yeah, I don't know, why do they do that? Why do they issue records and then they issue it and then decide to change it a little bit? And I never really fully understood that, to be honest. But yeah, Marquee Moon by Television, a lot bigger in England than it was in America, I think, because there was a legendary review, I think, in the Enemy or Melody Maker by Nick Kent, where he reviewed it, a whole page review in '77. And I think this went top 30 in the UK. It's probably a lot easier to find second-hand copies in the UK of Marquee Moon than probably anywhere else in the world. Yeah, an amazing album. Amazing album. I mean, the first time I heard Venus, it's knocked me sideways. And Elevation as well, but Venus is beautiful. Just lyrically amazing as well. I remember When the Darkness Doubled. Just such an amazing lyric. And yeah, they never quite equaled this again, did they, Television? But an incredible record, which I've not listened to probably since about 2003. But yeah, I love it. Marquee Moon by Television. Next up, reggae. Obviously, I like seeing reggae in the VC, and this is a beaut. The Mighty Diamonds, Right Time. If you're getting into reggae and sort of you've gone the Bob Marley and the Wailers route, i.e. as in quite listenable melodic reggae, the Mighty Diamonds Right Time, it should be your next step. This is beautiful. I think this is the greatest reggae album, as in song, melodic, chorus-based reggae. Their voices are beautiful. They're it's almost like influenced a little bit by almost doo-wop, close harmonies, beautiful, just incredible tunes. I mean, the killer on here is I Need a Roof. I would really recommend, if you go to YouTube, if you ain't heard of the Mighty Diamonds, YouTube I Need a Roof, an incredible song, but it's all killer on here. This is, as I said, this is my favourite reggae album. Not the easiest to find, I think, but you can pick it up for 20, 30 quid probably, but don't know if it's been repressed, but thoroughly recommend the Mighty Diamonds. I've seen it shown. I think the 6-inch Pianist might have shown this, I'm sure, at some point, but incredible record, Mighty Diamonds, Right Time. Next up, the first Pixies, Come On Pilgrim, kind of a mini album. This is the one that set them off in the UK, really. Set the ball rolling for them to become absolutely huge. I think I spoke in another vehicle. In 1990, they did their own festival in the UK at Crystal Palace in front of 25,000, when in the rest of the world weren't really particularly into their records. But it was the most bizarre gig anywhere, because there was 25,000 people, and between the band and between the Pixies and the Bats crowd was this lake. And in the end, people were just throwing themselves into the lake, which was slightly bizarre. But I think Come On Pilgrim's great. Maybe suffers in comparison to the others, with the production's a little bit flat, but actually song for song, you know, this is incredible. Great album. Come On Pilgrim by the Pixies. I think this is the first UK press, I've got a feeling, on 4AD. Brilliant. Next up, I mean, I've not listened to this for a few years, but this is great. I can't say enough about Tammy Wynette, and this is her debut album, Your Good Girl's Gonna Go Bad. Your Good Girl's Gonna Go Bad. This is a debut, and I think this is her best. Brilliant album. Most of her albums wind up in charity shops, don't they? Probably because they're a little bit spotty, but this one's solid all the way through. Fantastic production. Her voice, Tammy Wynette's voice is just the greatest in it. I love it. I think it's the best country voice. And yeah, I love this. Tammy Wynette, Your Good Girl's Gonna Go Bad. It's got Apartment Number 9 on it. Don't Come Home a Drinking. I'm Not Mine to Give. I mean, it's a wrist slasher's paradise, this one. But yeah, great album. Not easy to find, actually. Don't see this one a lot. Next, I'm surprised I don't see a little bit more of this lot on. Stereolab. Emperor Tomato Ketchup. Stereolab, great. They seem custom built for the VC, aren't they? They're kind of influenced by French pop and Can and easy listening and a little bit of jazz. This is I'm surprised I didn't show this on my original 90s pressings, because this is one of those original 90s pressings I bought. It's a real pain in the arse, because you've got to get in here. I think they modelled it on those sort of 70s Sergio Mendes albums that always had because they were big Sergio Mendes fans, always you had to get the vinyl out of the bit here, and the sleeve collapses and it's a pain in the arse. I mean, just a great album. Brilliant. I also love Dots and Loops by Stereolab. I mean, all their albums are solid, to be honest, and they're 12-inch singles, but yeah, Sybil's Reverie on here, Percolator, Lipa Sound. This is a great album. Emperor Tomato Ketchup by Stereolab. This is beautiful. The Avalanches, Since I Left You. Came out in 2000. Again, I don't know if this is an original press. It's hard to work out on Discogs, and as I've said before, I can never quite get my head around Discogs. But this was known as Plunderphonics, really. Imagine Paul's Boutique without the rapping. Basically, the Avalanches from Australia. It's got about 2,000 samples on it. It's all sort of instrumental, a lot of easy listening, a little bit of electro, a little bit of techno. It really took off in the UK, this. It took them about 14 years to follow it up, and of course they could never follow this up, really. I'm not 100% sold on it, but it is a great listen, and the big hit was Since I what's it called? Since I Left You was I think that was a top 10 in the UK. But yeah, the Avalanches, Since I Left You. I haven't listened to it for a couple of years, but yeah, great album. Next up, What Makes a Man Start Fires by the Minutemen. I think this is probably maybe the best Minutemen album. Double Nickels is incredible, but this is like a concise version of Double Nickels, and does contain probably my favourite Minutemen tune. which is the anchor, which I think was written by George Earley, the drummer. I got a feeling, and it was I think it was their first song to break the 2-minute spell. It was their opus. But What Makes a Man Start Fires by the Minutemen, out on SST, and yeah, great record. I know pretty much like all the Minutemen. The only downside with the Minutemen is they might have invented the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm not sure, but let's not hold that against them. But yeah, fantastic record. Next up, another original indie one, original 90s one, Afghan Wigs, Gentlemen. This was, again, the UK weeklies were really building up the Afghan Wigs to be the next Nirvana. And the album before this, Congregation, was probably my favourite. And it had their killer song on it, which I think would have broken them in the UK, especially with the support of the weeklies, which was Miles Is Dead, which they put as a secret track on the CD. I have no idea why, because I think it would have broken them through. They would have had a top 10 hit with Miles Is Dead. It's a real great tune. And then they followed this up, and they were getting loads of front covers in the UK. And this is a pretty decent album, but it's just not. It's not commercial particularly. Yeah, it's a decent album, Gentlemen, but it didn't really break them through. But yeah, hard to find, I think, this one now. But Gentlemen by the Afghan Wigs, great record. Not heard it, listened to it for yonks. Next up, Drum and Bass Selection 1. This came out in 93 when, well, I call it Jungle, and I'm sure it was known as Jungle when this came out, but it was where came out a scene out of London, which obviously drum and bass became huge in the UK. General Levy, I think, had the first sort of top 10 jungle hit with Incredible. Was it General Levy in 94? But this came out in 93, and I remember playing this to my mates, and they were just like, what the fucking hell are you playing? Because it's if you don't know drum and bass, and I'm sure most people do, especially in this era, it was basically the Winston's Amen break from the 60s, sped up to about 160 beats per minute with some sort of mad ragaman vocals over the top. But it slowly sort of evolved into a more sort of instrumental thing. I mean, the killer track on here is R-Type by Joe. R-Type by Joe. Joe was this like mysterious female, and I love R-Type by Joe. I think she uses like a Mega Drive game sample, which I think the game was called R-Type, and it's an absolute killer, haunting track. But a lot of this, like a lot of the classics on it: Uncle 22, 6 Million Ways to Die, Boogie Time to Dark Stranger, Warp Drive by DJ Crystal, and I always still call it Jungle, but they had to change the name to Jungle because there was some sort of moral scare that black youth in England were having fights in nightclubs, because of course white kids in England weren't ever having fights in nightclubs, and they thought the term jungle was loaded and ridiculous. But there you go. Clearly they never went to New York. New York's in Southampton, where the club that never slept. Last orders at 1 a.m. Because from my memory, a lot of white kids were beating the crap out of each other in that place. But there you go. There's probably a whole essay to be written about race and music and representation and moral panics. But yeah, Drum and Bass Selection 1, 93, fantastic. Next up, people always reckon Motown didn't have a good album in the 60s, and then they start talking about Stevie Wonder and Marvin Gaye, and I can't. It's not right. There are some great Motown 60s. This is Martha Eve and the Vandellas. Watch Out, absolute killer album. The first 3 tracks, and any Northern Soul fans in the UK will know I'm Ready for Love, because it's a Northern Soul monster. Then One Way Out is the next track, another Northern Soul. Then Jimmy Mack also contains the great lost Smokey Robinson track, No More Tear Stained Makeup, which might be one of Smokey Robinson's greatest moments, No More Tear Stained Makeup. It's one of those Smokey Robinson lyrical masterclass where he almost writes it. The lyrics are just insane. It's like some sort of crossword puzzle. How he writes those lyrics, I don't know. But if you ever see this, and I think in America you can get this really cheap. I think in the UK you can pick up 8, 9, 10 quid. This is a frigging great album. It really is. I think it could be, I think, my favourite Motown album. But yeah, and there's loads of 60s Motown albums that are great. But this one's a killer. I love it. DJ Shadow introducing, a little bit like the Avalanche. This is like the thinking man's Avalanche, isn't it? DJ Shadow, again, he really broke through in the UK, this, because it was on the Mo Wax label, which James Lavelle of UK became a really big thing. Introducing by Shadow is pretty decent. We think it's a little bit overhyped, but there are some great moments on it. And again, like the Avalanches, it's just a load of samples stitched together. A lot of it was, I think he sampled David Axelrod quite a lot. who was pretty unknown at the time, but now David Axelrod is fairly well known because of this album. But yeah, Introduced Him by Shadow, decent. Again, not heard it for, probably not listened to this since about 98, I expect 99. And last up, what a great album this is, The Chills, Submarine Bells. Maybe one of the great pop songs of all time. Heavenly Pop Hit is the opener on this. They're from Australia. I want to say from Australia, or are they New Zealand? I can't remember. But it's a pretty decent album, Submarine Bells by The Chills. Again, it's another 90s press. I missed out a lot of 90s presses on my last video. Yeah, this is a decent album. I think this has been reissued, and I really recommend it. It's a great indie pop album, but Heavenly Pop Hit is just one of the greats. It really is. So anyway, that's my favourite albums that I've not played in 2021. Thanks for watching. I hope everyone has a lovely Christmas. And I'll see you all in the new year for the Harris Pilton 1 year anniversary spectacular. Thank you. Bye now.